Welcome to the Beyond Social Media Show, episode number 154, the podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. We're recording live on YouTube on August 21, 2016. This week's topics: Hangouts off air, Verizon's Brandware offer, naked Trump trends, Moz unfollows FollowerWonk, True Olympic spirit, Twitter's harassment issues, Triumph, the Insult Dog's triumphant return, filtering Twitter, and Amazon Originals online. BL always has the honors to kick it off with the worst story of the week. BL, what was that story?
Well, this week, Google, in their usual confusing and ham-handed manner, announced that they were going to move Hangouts on Air to YouTube live events as of September 12th. So a whole bunch of misinformation followed that, which is completely understandable because of the way that they explained it, which is very unclear. But here's what happened. They basically put another nail in the coffin of Google Plus because they took events off of Google Plus and they took Hangouts on Air off of Google Plus. They put Hangouts on YouTube. It's exactly the same Hangout as was on Google Plus. Hangouts did not go away. You just have to set them up now in a different way, and you are forced to attach an AdSense account if you want to be able to embed your video in a website or a blog or social media, which of course, why would you not want to do that? You want people to see it. So you have to either sell or run other people's ads on your videos from now on. And so because of the way that they announced this and because of the way they announced and explain everything, there was some pretty big major media that kind of got this announcement wrong. Hangouts are going away. They're not going away. You just have to do them differently. But we are doing a Hangout right now. It will be recorded to YouTube. Everything about it will be the same, except the way it's set up, which is a major pain to do, I have to say. But here we are.
Well, I imagine Hangouts on Air, the phrase will fade away in favor of YouTube Live, which is actually much more clear.
Much more clear. I mean, because they had Hangout video calls and Hangouts on Air. And as Google does everything, they never clearly explained either. So it appeared, even though it's not true, because I learned it, and trust me when I tell you, I am no technical wizard, it appeared as though this was very hard to do, when in fact it's not. But it has a learning curve. Like anything that's worth doing, it has a learning curve. So they're just making it more complicated for people to understand a simple thing, if you ask me.
Yeah. And I mean, as we talked off air, by coupling the AdSense account, by forcing you to have an AdSense account in order to allow your videos to be embedded, they are making the bet that people who really care about having their videos embedded want to build an audience, obviously, because they want their content spread far and wide, and are also probably likely to want to monetize that audience through Google AdSense, but also expands their inventory of video ads, right? So they can sell more video ads. Works for them both ways. Speaking of ads, Verizon has a very interesting proposition they're sending to their advertisers, or to potential advertisers. This is from an Ad Age article by Garrett Sloan. BL, you've heard of vaporware, you've heard of bloatware, you've heard of nagware, you've heard of malware. Now we have brandware. So Verizon is offering to install big brands apps on its subscribers' home screens, potentially delivering millions of downloads. Verizon is seeking between $1 and $2 for each device that's installed. Their pricing is pretty competitive when you compare it to social media ads for app installs on Google or Facebook. It's not clear whether they've sold any as yet. They're offering it to advertisers. They're only offering installs on Android phones because, of course, Google's Android operating system is open for carriers to customize. Apple controls its operating system, so it's platformed tightly, so they don't have that option for Apple. The proposed deals with brands would ensure their apps are downloaded only to new devices when people activate their new phones. It doesn't guarantee that subscribers subscribers will open the apps, of course, and there's no targeting, so you can't, a brand couldn't perhaps target just their customers. Verizon has 75 million smartphone subscribers, and they activate about 10 million new phones a quarter. So it's a huge audience. Android phones account for more than 50% of the US market, but an interesting and really annoying new idea. I don't want to have a bunch of apps installed on my new phone that I didn't ask for.
Well, that's really a bad idea if ever I heard one. So we talked about, I think it was 2 shows ago, how the Olympics Committee announced that nobody but their sponsors could use their logo, could run any video, could even run pictures of things that happen at the Olympics. Well, this is what happened. Rosalind Warren at BuzzFeed wrote a very, very well-researched article and pointed out that Twitter has an extreme problem with abusive tweets. I mean, people have been threatened with death and rape and, horrible things. And there are all sorts of excuses why they can't find ways to take down abusive and dangerous tweets. But they found out how they could do an algorithm that would take out photos and videos of the Olympics almost immediately. And sometimes they'd suspend your account as well. And so that happened several times. And so there were obviously a lot of quotes because it hit a nerve with Twitter users, including this one. Abuse and hate speech is commonplace. So how come you could take down Olympic information and you can't tackle harassment? So M. Hoy, I don't know who that is exactly, but said Twitter's deleting users posting Olympic clips within minutes. They have tools to deal with harassment, but they'll only protect brands. And that's really the bottom line on that. That's just not fair. And then there was an example of a rape threat that has happened to a lot of people. Lindy West posted it. And she said, Twitter just let me know that this doesn't violate their rules or qualify as abusive behavior. Lighten up, ladies, Twitter said. Come on. I mean, if you can take down Olympic tweets, you can certainly take down threats of death and rape and disaster.
Yeah, well, you got to figure something out. They're trying some ways to figure it out. I'll address some of the ways they're trying to figure it out in the best, because it is a good aspect of that. But speaking of Twitter, one of my favorite Twitter tools is suddenly in its future is suddenly in limbo. This is from a Moz post by Sarah Bird, who is the CEO of Moz. They have in the post they explained that they had past invest by way of announcing layoffs, actually. They explained that they'd had past investments in projects that they believe would grow their business, but that haven't panned out. They say they're doubling down on their core expertise, which is search. And they say that people are underspending on SEO, that the growth in mobile and local search makes it ever more important, and they think the market for certain spending on SEO is gonna increase as a result, but because of the new alignment for Moz, they're going to be laying off 28% of their employees. It's bad news for that, so it deserves being worse, but it is a case study in how to do a layoff announcement. They were transparent about the causes for the layoffs. They had a solid rationale for why. They explained their strategy for growth and how it affects their customers. So how it affects their customers, it means they're going to be divesting themselves of Moz content, which is one of their products, as well as FollowerWonk, which brings us to the worst. FollowerWonk is one of the primary reasons that I signed up for and subscribed to Moz.
FollowerWonk is great. That's why. I mean, it's like one
Yep.
of the best tools around. Somebody will buy it, don't you think?
I think so. I mean, Moz does not to say Moz has great SEO tools. They really do, and they are improving. But a lot of what they have, I can get from SEMrush, which I also subscribe to. Not so with FollowerWonk, right? So it looks like I'll have a decision to make in the future regarding whether I stay with Moz. But FollowerWonk, right? It'll probably find a new home. It's a great tool, but who knows what happens once somebody buys the new tool. So
usually they screw it up somehow.
Right. Yeah.
So do you have more bad news, or
I do not. That's it. This brings us the best.
I laughed. I mean, I was on the floor laughing when Triumph, the insult comic dog, pranked some Trump supporters, some actual real Trump supporters, with some outrageous ads. This is a promotion for a Hulu show about Triumph, the insult comic dog, who really is freaking hilarious. So this is from a Huffington Post story by Andy McDonald, and what they did was they brought these Trump supporters, and they certainly did look like real people, into an actual focus group setting, and tried to see how far they could push them, and pretty far, as it turns out, and 2.2 million views in less than a week. And some of the things they did, like they said that Trump's immigration plan was he was going to go to places where immigrants gather, and while they were waiting in line for the porta potties, they'd be there. And when they went into the porta potties, they'd lock it from the outside. And at the end of the day, they'd come and they'd take away all the porta potties and take them to Mexico. And they had the idea of putting abortion clinics into fancy condos so that they could similarly get rid of those people. And I mean, outrageous. The more outrageous they were, and the people were sitting there going, "Yeah, I support that. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea." And I mean, to the point where it was just so ridiculous and absurd and funny. So 2.2 million people watched it, and I bet they told their friends, because I sure told mine. It was really funny.
It was hilarious. It was, and Triumph, the insult dog, has always been hilarious. I'm glad to see it. Actually might give me a reason to stay with my Hulu subscription.
That'd be the only one, because it's got ads.
So Twitter, we were talking about the bad stuff on Twitter. Twitter's had a new announcement. This is from a post by Emil Leong, who is a product manager over there. They have 2 new features that they've actually had all along that have been available to verified users and high-profile accounts, but now they're rolling out for everyone. One is notifications. Basically, they're making your ability to limit notifications to the only people you follow on mobile or twitter.com more obvious in how to get at those notifications and set them. So you can manage your notification settings easier. But more importantly, they've introduced a quality filter, quote unquote, a quality filter that will improve the quality of the tweets you see using a variety of signals, such as account origin, though Twitter does not define what account origin means. I assume it means verified accounts would be included in those. High quality tweets would be coming from verified accounts, but then also probably brand accounts that were signed up with an email address from that brand, maybe reciprocal links where you have a link from your Twitter bio to your blog, and your blog has a link from your blog to your Twitter bio. Those might be some signals that verify verify an account's origin. And then behavior is another signal that they'll take into account. Twitter also doesn't define what kind of behavior, but some things they could look at would be semantic analysis of your actual tweets, at reply complaints, so people complaining about your account using the at reply feature, spam reports, so people clicking your account as spam, or your tweets from your account as spam. Getting blocked obviously would be a signal. Written complaints to Twitter about your account. Patterns of interaction between a troll and victim. So you can imagine there are typical things that happen when that type of behavior occurs. Media coverage even could be a signal. So Milo Yiannopoulos, the Breitbart editor whose account was shut down after he was trolling comedian Leslie Jones, there's a bunch of media coverage of that. That could be a signal. Links from hate groups. There's a bunch of different things, but they don't say what it is, so we're left at trying to figure that out. It'll filter low quality content like duplicate tweets. So I frequently reshare blog posts because of the nature of how people use Twitter. They dip in and dip out throughout the day. So I wonder if that will be something that would be filtered out, something people should be paying attention to if you reshare your blog posts. Will you have to use different language to get over that filter? Content that appears to be automated is another thing they'll be paying attention to. Is this strictly referring to bots or automated thank you for following type of tweets? Or does it apply to scheduled tweets like those from Hootsuite or Buffer, which a lot of people use? If so, Do the scheduled tweets apply to Twitter Dashboard and TweetDeck, which Twitter owns? That remains to be seen. So we'll see that. There's a lot to pay attention to in that. But it is, I think, an attempt to deal with this harassment issue. Just basically allowing people to see stuff that they want to see, not see stuff that they don't want to see. So we'll see how it rolls out. But there you go.
There are a lot of gray areas there, that's for sure. And, you know, they recently gave you the opportunity to retweet your tweets. So why would they take that away? So I don't think that your retweeting of your posts is going to be a big issue. But who knows? You know, when something is that open-ended, I'm not quite sure why you have it in the best area. But
yeah.
in the best area this week, my absolute favorite event of the week, I must say, was the sudden appearance in several cities, including New York and Union Square, of ginormous 300-pound naked Donald Trump statues. And in Union Square, it was left on Thursday night. It wasn't discovered until Friday morning. And it was certainly not flattering to Donald Trump, let's put it that way. But, you know, he's the one who brought up the size of his penis in the debate. So I guess that made it fair game. But they came from the anarchist group In Decline. And that's the same group that was responsible for putting the names of Black kids who've been shot by police onto stars on Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm pretty sure they're the group that did that billboard of Trump and Putin kissing. Pretty sure that's them. But these statues had a title, which was called The Emperor Has No Balls, and the statues didn't either. And they were done by an artist from Las Vegas, whose name is Ginger. And Ginger's experienced in constructing monsters for haunted houses. And they commissioned him, In Decline commissioned him to do the work. And he said, well, Trump's just another monster. And he used 300 pounds of clay and silicone, and he tried to put what he called a constipated look on his face. And people just had the most fun with them. And so the New York City Parks Department took it away, and somebody at the Parks Department had a very slick response, and it said on their website, New York City Parks stands firmly against any unpermitted erection in city parks, no matter how small.
Well, I saw this story because it trended on Twitter. Trump, naked Trump, and took a look at it. And I mean, for political satire, it doesn't get much better because I mean, the emperor has no clothes. One, that's the political commentary on it, and it's true. So people pay attention. I mean, if you get at the truth through satire, that's when it's most biting. And also, I mean, Trump's own obvious insecurity about his endowment takes advantage of that, so it's funny as well. And yeah, it's no surprise that it went as viral as it did. So.
What was so interesting, though, was there was absolutely no response whatsoever from the Trump camp. They said nothing.
Well,
what could they say? What could they say?
That's his newfound discipline, apparently.
I don't know about that.
Well,
we're waiting for the naked Hillary statues next week.
Right. So speaking of art, trying to make a transition here. Yeah. Amazon has released pilot episodes of their best shows on YouTube and Facebook for free. This is from an Engadget article by Alex Gilyadov. So Amazon has made 10 pilot episodes from some of their best dramas, comedies, and kids series to watch for free on YouTube and Facebook. My favorites include The Man in the High Castle, which I've talked about on this episode, on this podcast many episodes ago. Transparent and Bosch. So it's obviously an attempt by Amazon to make their video content a bigger spotlight and incentive for people to sign up for their Prime service at $99 a year, which you get video content for free
through. More than 99 now. It's I think 119.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. I don't think it did.
Mine did.
Well, okay. Now to check. So anyway, Prime seen strong momentum recently. Their membership has grown over 50% in 2015. They are now working on new exclusives, a series based on Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan character, which I can't wait for, and a Woody Allen series. So look for those, but we'll have links to the YouTube channels and Facebook page for you to watch the original pilots.
So I'm out of news. I have a lot of apps, but so tell us, you have more,
Yeah,
right?
one last one. This is fantastic. There's a wonderful write-up on the history of surrealist painters Salvador Dali and Walt Disney's attempts at collaboration. This is from Dazed. Reporter's name is Trey Taylor, and so he writes up a fantastic history of this relationship that I did not know about. Disney himself had demonstrated an interest in surrealism. The pink elephants on parade scene from Dumbo, Snow White running through the forest, dodging logs that are snapping at her like crocodiles, and of course the whole film Fantasia is surrealist. Salvador Dali, one of my favorite artists, wrote Andre Breton, who is the founder of surrealism, and he said, I have come to Hollywood and am in contact with the three great American surrealists, the Marx Brothers, Cecil B. DeMille, and Walt Disney. So there's a mutual love affair there. In January 1946, Dali signed a contract with Disney. The project Destino is about unrequited love between a woman and Kronos, who's the personification of time. Dali explained it as, quote, a magical exposition of the problem of life in the labyrinth of time. The project generated 135 storyboards and 22 paintings by Dali in his 8 months that he spent in the studio, but the project fell apart due to financing. During the re-release of Fantasia in 2000, Disney's nephew, Roy Disney, chanced upon Dali's original artwork and secretly enlisted a team of animators and French director Dominique Monfreri, I think is how you pronounce it, to replicate the vision for $1.5 million. The resulting 6-minute short landed an Oscar nomination in 2003. It's an absolutely treat for Dali and Disney fans alike. You can see each of their influences in it. It's especially a treat for us in the creative industry, so we'll have a link to it. We'll embed it in the blog post so you can watch the entire 6-minute piece, but it's fantastic.
I skipped one of my good news pieces, which was at the Olympics, where the true spirit of Olympic spirit was embodied by two of the runners in the 500-meter race. One was Suzanne Hamblin from New Zealand, and the other was, I can't remember her first name, but her last name is D'Agostino. And D'Agostino fell and she tripped Hamblin, and instead of just going on, like, running over her, she turned around to help her, giving up her own race, which she did ultimately finish, but they did take D'Agostino away in a wheelchair, and she's on crutches because she really did hurt herself. And so she gave up her opportunity for a medal, and she helped somebody who really needed help for the sportsmanship, and that award has only been given like 10 times in Olympic history. And I was so glad they gave her something, because that was just, I mean, it was just such a wonderful thing to do.
Acts of human kindness. That was absolutely beautiful. Yep,
it was. So that brings us to apps, right?
It does indeed. What do you got?
Well, I'm looking around for video options, and there's one that this week Google introduced something called Duo, which appears to be like Google video calls, so I'm not paying any attention to it till they make up their minds. But Appear.im is a video chat for up to 8 people. It works in Chrome and Firefox and on iOS and Android phones, and it's very simple to use. And so we'll put a link in the show notes to it. It is definitely something that works everywhere and worth a look.
All right, cool. I had a chance to, I was doing some research and tried out a new app. Now, back in the day, I created my own app, probably 2007, 2008.
Such a geek.
Yeah, I know. I created my app using one of these self-service app things, and I had all of probably 15 downloads for the app. Me and my friends tried it out. It wasn't very good. The
What did it
self-service,
do?
this just delivered my content, blogs and podcasts and stuff. So the tool for doing it wasn't that sophisticated, but I tried doing it again, the self-service tool, and they've gotten a lot more sophisticated since. And so this tool I used was Barber. Goodbarber.com. It's a mobile app creation tool. It'll create a self-service tool for creating native apps in Apple and Android. You choose a template for the look and feel of your app, and they have like 50 to choose from. So a big, wide selection of different palettes and looks and feels and fonts and blah, blah, blah. Then you configure your sections. You can include all the usual things you could see in an app: articles, video, audio, social feeds, forms, etc. You get push notifications up from 5,000 a month up to 50,000 a month, depending upon the service tier that you choose. You can add analytics, so you can add your Google Analytics. You can add Flurry, Countly, but not App Annie, which is a popular mobile apps analytics thing, so that's not built in. You can test and publish it from the tool. The pricing is $16 a month to $48 a month, depending on the features. And you have a 30-day trial, which is plenty enough time to try it out and see how it works and see whether you like it or not. But very cool, very slick. It's a lot more
Called, Dave?
sophisticated. Good Barber.
Wonder why
Barber,
they
like the
called it
people who
that.
cut your hair, probably because no other domains were available.
There's a good reason, if ever
Yeah.
there was one. So I came across an app that really is very cool called Prisma. And it's for iOS, and it's free. And it lets you turn your photos into works of art with various filters and special effects, but they're really good ones. And it's really easy to use. And what you get comes out really, really, something you'd want to share. So that's worth a look. I have so many photo apps on my phone, and I put them on there and I forget to use them. But this one I was playing with, and it was fun.
Nice. I'll have to try it out. So this month featured National Book Lovers Day, and as a result, I thought I'd share this one that a lot of people know about, but it's worth mentioning: Project Guttenberg. It's been around for a while, but Project Guttenberg is, if you don't know it, a compilation of a ton of public domain books that you can download for ebooks. They come in plain text format, HTML format, EPUB format, Kindle format, and they even have some audiobooks. They boast more than 50,000 titles. Some of the most popular titles include Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, A Tale of Two Cities, Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, the complete works of Shakespeare, and many, many more. So if you hadn't thought about that in a while, you might want to take a look. If you didn't know about it, you definitely got to check it out.
All the things you had to read in high school and college.
Yep.
You had to buy them at the time. Right? You don't need to do that now.
Right.
Well, I came across What the World Needs Now. It's an app called PetChatz, ChatZ, and it lets you Skype with your dog or your cat, and you can even remotely give them a treat. And it's $380. It's a system, so you buy the app, which basically it's a two-way HD video camera and a full frequency two-way audio system. That's $380. And then there's something else that allows you to give them a treat, and it's an app from your phone. And then there's also, for another $99, your dog or cat can call you, and that one's called Paw Call, and they just put their big old paw down on the thing. They're Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled, but when your pet calls you, you get a text message that says your dog is calling.
All right, that's a little pricey.
A little bit pricey, yeah. So if you get the whole thing, it's like $500. But you report back after you try it out, BL. Well, if they want to let me test it, I'll try it out. Otherwise, that won't be happening.
So are we on to daily numbers.
Yes, we are.
All right. So 5 most popular wearable devices. This is from Price Waterhouse Cooper survey. The types of wearable devices owned by U.S. wearable device owners. Tops amongst them, not surprisingly, as you'd guess, fitness bands. It's the Fitbits of the world. 45% of device owners say they had a fitness band. Smartwatch came in second at 27%. So your Apples and your, what's the other one? Apple, and there's an Android version.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. Smart glasses, 15%. So those of us who bought Google Glass, legacy numbers right there. And then what they call smart video, which is not very smart, but the example is GoPro. So mobile, wearable cameras, 14%, and smart clothing down at 12%. So if you're curious about the wearable device market, there you go.
That you wear, and you can turn your devices on and off on your skin. I don't really need that. So I just have to do a tiny little rant here. We had some audio and video problems in the last few episodes thanks to RCN. And RCN was here this week. They replaced all my equipment. They said everything is peachy keen. And I noticed several times during this broadcast that things have not been peachy keen. So I'm going to let you take us out, and I'm going to just tell RCN one more time, your service is not working.
All right. Well, get it done, RCN. Get it done. Yeah. So thank you for watching the episode number 154 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for marketing, advertising, and public relations professionals. My name is David Erickson, my co-host. You can find me at Twitter on @DErickson. My blog is e-strategyblog.com. I blog at creativepr.com as well. BL, you can find out what's next on Twitter. Her blog is what'snextblog.com. She is the owner of maximum-plus.com, where you can hire her for all things online events, online video marketing, and much, much more. Extremely talented. You should hire her. The show you can find at beyondsocialmediashow.com. We're on Twitter at BS Media Show. Subscribe to our newsletter, beyondsocialmediashow.com/newsletter. And we will have a blog post with all of the stuff that we talked about for episode 154 at beyondsocialmediashow.com/154 shortly after we finish here. With all kinds of videos embedded to the stories we talked about, links to the stories we talked about, all that. So you want to see that. And until next week, thanks for watching.
We'll be back next week, same time, same station. We hope you'll join us. Thank you.